Hey guys, my name is Mike, and this is Math Tutoring with Mike. Hey, before we jump into our video, there are just a few things that I would like to review with you. The first thing is that I want to implore that at the end of this video, by the time that you reach the end of this video, I want to make sure that you understand the principles that we went over today in this video. So if you have to stop the video at any point in time, that you're confused, or if you have to rewind, I really want to suggest that you do that. The second thing is that after you've reached the end of this video, that you actually go back and try solving the example problems on your own. Doing this, I find, is very important with cementing the theories and cementing the understanding, that you actually understand what was reviewed. So, thirdly, chances are you came to this video with a specific problem that you had. If at the end of this video you realize that I have not addressed the specific problem that you are looking to solve, I invite you to leave me a comment or shoot me an email with your specific problem or specific question. And you have my word, I'll do my best to either preparing another video or reaching out to you personally how to solve that particular problem. Anyway guys, so on to our video. In this video, we shall be talking about dividing fractions. How do you divide fractions? Dividing fractions is a lot like multiplying fractions, but there's a step that you do before we actually get to the multiplication of fractions. And I just want to point out that for multiplying fractions, there's a video that I created already. So go ahead and check that out if you are brand new to multiplying fractions. But I just want to point that out that if there's a video already created, so please feel free to go back and look through all the video logs to find multiplying fractions. But on to our video of how do you divide fractions. So this scenario is for all three of the fraction types that we talked about in that video. We had talked about that it applies for proper fractions. It applies to improper fractions. And then it also applies to mixed fractions or mixed numbers. Okay, so we'll go through all of those three different scenarios. The first one that we're going to look at is a proper fraction. So if we look at, let's make one up real quick. 4 over 5 divided by, let's say 1/2, okay? And we may see it like 4/5 divided by 1/2. That's another way of representing it too, okay? But either or situations, we'll figure out how to actually solve that problem. So if we look back to the initial problem, it's actually 4/5. You know what, let me just create a new screen. 4/5 divided by 1/2. I think it's easy if I did it. Hope I'm not confusing you guys. 4/5 divided by 1/2. So what do we do? The first step that we do is this sign here, we have to change this sign to a multiplication sign. And then at the same time, we have to flip that side of the fraction. Okay, so here's what that looks like. That would look like 4 over 5 multiplied by 2 over 1. Okay, so once we have this step, Then now we proceed with the procedures now with multiplying fractions, and that is you multiply all the numerators together, and then you multiply all the denominators together, and then what you have is 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 1 is 5, and this would be your answer here to that problem. Okay, so you see it's very simple. It's very simple. First step is change this sign, and then second step is actually inverting. We call it inverting, but just simply flip it, and it'll look like that. Let's do another problem. 3 over 8 divided by 3 over 4. Okay, so to solve the problem, what's the first thing we do? We have to flip this sign to a multiplication, and you have to invert or flip that fraction over to now make it 4 over 3. Okay, once we do that now, our problem then becomes 3 over 8 multiplied by 4 over 3. And then as we are multiplying fractions, we multiply all the numerators together divided by all the denominators together. And then that would make our problem 4 times 3 is 12, 8 times 3 is 24. Okay? So this is how we divide fractions. So whether the fraction is an improper fraction or a proper fraction, we would do the same thing. We would do the same thing. Let's do an improper fraction so I can show you. If we had 9 over, let's say 9 over 4 divided by 8 over 3. Okay, so first thing we do is we flip this sign to multiply, and then we invert or we flip that fraction. Okay, once we do that now, our next step would be 9 over 4 multiplied by 3 over 8. And then we solve the fraction as is by, same way we would solve a multiplication fraction. We multiply all the numerators together, and then we multiply all the denominators together, and then that will make it 9 times 3 is 27, 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, in the situation where you would see now an improper fraction, let's add a 1 and 3/4 divided by, let's say, 8 over 3 again. Okay, what we do is, the first thing you would want to do is you would want to change this this mixed number now to an improper fraction. To do that, if you recall in our last video, or to do that, what we would do is we would say 4 times 1, and then plus 3. So then the problem would become, and then maybe what we should do is solve it first. Let's do it. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3, and then it equals 7. So what do you do with that 7 now? The problem now becomes 7 over 4 divided by 8 over 3. Okay, we still have the division sign there, so what do? We flip the sign to multiply, and then we invert the fraction to 3 over 8. So now the problem becomes 7 over 4 multiplied by 3 over 8. So now we multiply all of the numerators together, multiply all of the denominators together, problem, the answer then becomes 21 over 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, so this is how we solve, or this is how we divide fractions. If you guys are in need of more examples, feel free to let me know. So you've made it to the end of the video. Good deal. I really hope that you understood what was reviewed today. Like I said earlier on in the video, I really think it's a good idea that you go back and try to solve the example problems on your own. That way you can prove to yourself, and you can help assure that you actually understand the problems. Well, until next time, with another tutoring session, another math tutoring session with Mike. See you guys.